Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to those of you that have lower credit scores. We'll call it 500 to 579 and then 580 to 600. And you're looking to purchase a home and you don't know if you could do that. The good news is you can. And we're going to be talking about an FHA loan. That's the loan type. Why? FHA is a great program for those that have had past credit ills for whatever reason. But specifically, I'm talking about manual underwrites. What is that? That's how loans were underwritten back in the day. You're not receiving an automated approval via the software that we use, but the underwriter is actually going to physically look at your file. So by watching this video, it's going to help you understand what it is that you need to accomplish before approaching somebody like me, a lender, to get you ready. What is the underwriter looking at when he or she is looking at your information to approve you via a manual underwrite? And that's your credit worthiness. And for a manual underwrite, what's key in this order is your housing, okay? And the type of credit mix that you have. Installment loans, student loans, car loans, personal loans. An installment loan is anything that has a fixed payment for a fixed period of time. That's all that means. And then you have different variations of credit cards, revolving cards, charge cards, things of that nature. But this is what the underwriter is looking at to reestablish your credit worthiness. And the reason I say reestablish, what you really want to know and understand is whenever you have a manual underwrite, the time frame that's most important is your most recent 12 months. Okay? Your most recent 12 months is what we're looking at here to reestablish. We want to reestablish that you had no lates with your housing, no lates with your installment, no lates with your revolving. Now, there is some leeway for installment and revolving in a 12 to 24 month period if you have a manual underwrite. But you really need to get with your lender or reach out to somebody like me, because I don't want this video to go on forever. But I want you to focus on 0 lates within the most recent 12 months. Most recent 12 months from what start? From your last late payment. So as an example, let's say I had a late payment May the 10th, 2024. Starting May the 11th through May the 11th, 2024 to May the 11th, 2025. That gives me my 12-month period. So this is the main focus for you to understand how to look at your situation, how an underwriter would look at it. Now, from here, once we understand what the main focus is, housing, rental history, gotta have it. If you are looking to get a manual underwrite and you don't have rental history, then you need to pause because we can't move forward. We have to go about your situation differently. And then your installment history, revolving history. And the thing with housing, let me go back here before I go any further. If you are dealing with a private owner and not a corporate owner, like an apartment complex, something of that nature, then gotta have your lease and the ability to document your rental history, right? So that's the form of canceled checks, canceled cashier's checks. You'd be surprised at the number of folks that pay cash for things. And it doesn't surprise me if you think about it, because a lot of folks that live in this realm, because you can't go traditionally with credit and things of that nature, you train yourself to do a lot of things via cash. If it's not documentable, it didn't happen. So once we establish what that 12-month period is, what's the start period? If you have not been paying your rent in a documentable fashion, you must do. I think I made that point. So that's the main focus. That's what the underwriter is looking at and what we're trying to reestablish, regardless of where your credit score is now. From there, you have to understand why. And when you understand the why, you can move forward. And so the underwriter, okay, has to establish your regard for credit, meaning you understand the importance of credit and credit scoring, especially in this context where folks are looking to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars. So in order for that to happen, for you to be able to take advantage of the best lending practices as it pertains to mortgages in the world, right here in these United States, you have the best opportunity to leverage, then we have to reestablish that you understand the importance of that. Because if not, then those coming behind you, your children, your grandchildren, they won't have this opportunity. It is very important. So now that's the why the underwriter is looking at these things, to prove that you have reestablished your regard for the importance of repaying this loan. Now, with that said, here are some excuses that I've underlined, that I've seen over the years. Let's say you've successfully gotten past this step and we're cooking with hot grease. And now we have to start writing letters of explanation and things of that nature to explain why you had a credit issue. Bad excuses. I was young. I was too at one time. Everybody was. Not an excuse. Oh, it's an excuse. It's not a good reason. Another bad excuse. I didn't understand. I understand that as well. That's not a good reason. We don't want to use those things. Here's another one. I got a divorce. Just because you broke up with your spouse, that does not absolve you from the contractual obligation that you have with a creditor. At one point in time, divorce was a good reason, but because of all the people that used divorce as a reason, because of low credit scores, and then went on to not satisfy the obligation of paying the mortgage back, what happens is FHA and all these entities that make this money available, they go back every quarter, every 6 months, and look at the delinquency rate. And then they start looking at common denominators of people that are delinquent. And so divorce was one of those things back in the day that you could use, but folks abused it and it went away. We want to reestablish that you understand it's important to repay. Now, here's some good reasons. And the reason these are good reasons is simply because we can document them. Again, if it's not documentable, it didn't happen. So what are some good reasons for someone having had a less desirable credit score currently because of the past? Here's a good one. Loss of primary income. The primary wage earner lost the job suddenly and no fault of their own. Maybe someone passed away, God forbid. That was the primary wage earner. Those things are documentable. The way they're documentable is too, with something like a job loss, is I could go back and look and I can identify a period of time. Prior to that, things were probably moving right along. And then, something happened. There's a reason. So that's a good reason we can document that. Medical issue. Preferably none of you guys face any type of medical issues, but that's something that's documentable. What else? Catastrophic loss. There's a lot of storms that are going around. Again, don't want anything like that to happen to you, but these are isolated incidents that can show that something has gone on. We can document it. Let's see here. Fraud. This is another one that has been misused in a lot of areas. But if you have had fraud, we should be able to have documentation. And then here's the last thing I put here. Be honest. As I said in the beginning, you're not a bad person, okay? Credit scores fluctuate daily, monthly. Things happen to us all the time. Just be honest. So that's why it's very important for you to find a lender that you know and trust so that you're not wasting time. Because as we know, the most valuable asset that we have, in my opinion, is time. And time is truly money. So be honest with yourself and with the person that's helping you make the largest financial decision that most of us will make it under the locks. Moving forward, let's bring this thing home. Tell me how. Let's get into it. This is the how. This is what I would do if I were you. I need to find out what's on my credit report. That's another fear point for a lot of people. You think if you don't look at it, it's not there. It's there. And in a lot of cases, it's metastasizing. Gotta look at what's going on with your information. MyFreeAnnualCreditReport.com. You're able to get a free copy. It used to be once a year, but because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, it had gotten up to where you could get it weekly. I don't know where it is now, but point is this. You can get a free copy of Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Not the credit score, but the actual trade lines. What's on the credit? Collections, open accounts, where you've lived, where you work. Don't you think that you should know what your information is saying about you? If you didn't know, the new gold is data. You should know what your data is. myfreeannualcreditreport.com is where it's at. Or if you're ready to purchase, and if you're somebody that's getting a manual underwrite, you need to be ready to pull the trigger within 60 days. And if that's the case, deal with your vendor, the one that you know and trust, okay? So you can get a true picture, a true baseline of where you really stand. Now, when that happens, if you're looking at your own, you want to have a minimum of 3 trade lines. One being your housing history that we can document, because you got to have housing history. Okay, we already went over that. And then you can have a mixture of 1 to 2 installment accounts, car, personal loan, student loan, and 1 to 2 revolving accounts, credit cards, things of that nature. That's the mix that you want to have. So this is the how steps that you want to deal with. Now, once you get the credit report, either from yourself or with your lender, prior to doing so, or soon thereafter, this is what I don't want you to do. Stop disputing unless you have what? Documentation to validate your dispute, because these disputes will come back to bite you in a myriad of ways. So don't dispute anything unless you can document it. You have to deal with it, because a dispute is an open collection. You either want to charge off or you want to settle the account. That's really what you want to do if you're doing a manual underwrite. If you're approved eligible, we might be able to go in another direction, but we're talking manual underwrite. No inquiries. This is the last video that you need to watch when it comes to getting a manual underwrite with FHA. I'm telling you the truth. If you follow this, you'll be good to go. So you don't need to add a bunch of inquiries from other lenders thinking that someone else is going to tell you something different. And they're telling you something different is just to get you to apply, and they really don't know the guidelines. Then you cannot have any more lates. Remember, we've reestablished you understand the importance of credit, and we've done all this hard work to make sure that you're in place to be able to move forward with less than, say, a 640 credit score. I'll use that as a benchmark. So you don't want to have any lates once we started that 12-month period or afterwards, because then what we're saying is, no, we haven't reestablished. Whatever's been going on is still going on. And so the last thing here is no NSFs, non-sufficient fund fees. So there you have it. I think I hit the nail on the head, and I'm going to leave it there. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel. You won't be disappointed. And again, if you're ready to move forward and you want to take that next step and actually apply and see where you're at, or work with someone that will help you get to your ultimate goal, reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you to see if it will be a fit. Watch this next video to see what it is you have to do to be approved with disputed trade lines, but you have an automated approval. Talk to you soon.